Happy Monday to each of you, and thanks for tuning in. This is Perspective, the power of conversation. As always, we are so delighted that each of you take time out of your busy schedule to join in. If this is your first show, we thank you for tuning in, and you can let us know where you are watching or listening from. And to all of our returning users, listeners, and viewers, we thank you for tuning in. Tonight, we are delighted to have our guest with us. And if you tune in on Thursday, it may seem like a little bit of deja vu because I did put out that we would do a complete live re-air with our guest for Thursday, Miss Pamela Bass, who is in the runoff for Birmingham City School Board District 8. We had some technical difficulties beyond our control, and as you all know, I always like to bring to you the best. So anything that's not the best or excellence, not going to put it out there. So as a result, we did decide to redo live tonight's show, and Miss Bass is backstage virtually, and she will be joining us momentarily. So I hope that each of you are having a great day. As we've been talking about since we've been back on, this is still an election season, and I want you to keep that in mind. This is still an election season, as met some of our metro Birmingham cities, you all do your runoffs tomorrow. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the show, but we really want you to take the time to go out and let your voice be heard. We're not telling you who to vote for, but we are encouraging you to vote. So again, happy Monday to each of you joining us, and also happy first day of fall. I know it doesn't feel like it, but today is the first day of fall, and hopefully towards the latter of the week, we will start seeing more fall like temperatures. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and get started this evening. So again, in Birmingham, there's an important runoff election that will take place on Tuesday, October the 7th, which is in 15 days to be exact. Voters will be returning to the polls for key races, including Districts 4, District 8, and District 9 on City Council, and District 2, District 8, and District 9 for Birmingham School Board. And again, as I've said before, these elections matter because they shape our neighborhoods, they shape our schools, and ultimately they shape the future of our city. So tonight I'm honored to be joined by one of the candidates for Birmingham Board of Education, District 8, Pamela Bass. And to tell you a few things about Miss Bass, Pamela is a native of Mobile, Alabama. She's a proud mother of four. She's a grandmother of three. She's the owner of Rose's Elite Management and Consulting. She's a licensed realtor and co-founder of the Genesis Project, a nonprofit organization serving communities across Birmingham. Pamela has been a motivational speaker for more than 20 years, where she has mentored youth across Alabama. She's also spoken churches and served on many community programs. After the heartbreaking loss of her son in 2020, she became a powerful advocate against gun violence. She has also stepped into leadership roles and understand the importance of policies and effective decision making, which she now brings into her campaign for the school board. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring her in. And tonight we're going to talk about her journey, her passion for education and youth, her vision for Birmingham City Schools, and why this election is crucial for District 8. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am great. I am awesome.
Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to do this again. And thank you for being a So let's go ahead and get right in. And before we dive in, I did want to do as I did on Thursday. For those who are watching tonight, I know sometimes when we have these elections on, it can be kind of confusing. Like we said, due to the recent redistricting. So if you live in District 8, if you live in Bearview Heights, Bridge Hills, Central Park, College Hills, Ensley Highlands, Fairview, Graymont, Thomas, Rising West Princeton, Tuxedo, and Tuxedo Heights. Pamela Bass will be on your ballot, and you do have the distinct honor of voting for her. So just wanted to get that out there, and we'll say that again before we end the show tonight. So, again, thank you for being here tonight. And before we get into the details of your campaign, let's start. For those who have never heard the name Pamela Bass before, what is one thing that you like for them to know about you?
One thing,
You can do two.
well, my name is Pamela Bass, and I am often called the human Walmart. I am that one-stop shop.
I love it.
Um, it's combined with, you might come to Walmart and want a little mentoring. It's available. You might want a little coaching. It's available. You might want to shoulder the crowd. It's available. You might want transparency. So I'm that one stop shop. That's the best description I can give you with me and Miss Pam.
Okay. So again, we're gonna start, but you got my wheels turning now. How did you get that name? That name coin? Was it over time, or was it after you worked with different groups? Tell us about that.
You talking about that nickname?
Yes.
Well, it was overtime because it used to be a point where people would ask me, "What do you do?" And it got to a point that that was a compound question. So we started answering the question, "What don't you do?" You know.
Okay.
Um, so eventually, I can't remember. One of the kids said, "Well, Miss Pam, you Walmart." I said, "Is it echoing?"
No.
Okay. She said, "You're Walmart." I said, "Hmm." Because if I go to Walmart, I can get a little bit of everything. So when I come to you, I feel like I can get a little bit of everything. So in my bios, in most places I speak, that statement will be put in there somewhere that I'm the human walking form of Walmart. And I have accepted that.
Gotcha. So since you went there, let's kind of start here. Being a mixture of things, how important is it? Do you think that is for someone running for a seat like the Birmingham School Board?
Well, it goes to the versatility. You know, I have a little experience everywhere. I have dealt with a little everything, especially when it comes down to the community, the children, in and out of the schools, with my children and other people's children, because oftentimes they will call me the mother of Birmingham because it's a lot of kids that call me Mama Pam that are adults now. So me having all those qualities, it helps because I can see things from all angles, from their angle, from the angle of a parent, from the angle of a teacher, from the angle of a leader, and from an angle of a community leader. So therefore, me being versatile, I feel helps more with this position, in the school board. So when I go to, when we're reviewing policies and procedures, I can look at it from every aspect and not just from one. That makes
Exactly.
sense?
Right. And if you're tuning in tonight, again, thank you for tuning in. And if you do have questions for our guests, you can go ahead and post them in the comments, and we will get those posted on the screen before we leave tonight. So, candidate Pam Bass can answer all of your questions. So, in going there, this is an open seat, by the way, in case you are not familiar with the District 8 school board seat. The current incumbent, Sonia Smith, Sonia has decided to run for Birmingham City Council District 8, which is also an open seat, as the current incumbent, Carol Clark, has decided not to run again. So Sonia Smith will be running is also in the runoff for the District 8 City Council seat. And we hope to have her on this podcast. So let's kind of talk about what was the that thing that just said, okay, I've been doing this in schools, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. Because after we talked, after the taping Thursday, the more we talked, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm very familiar with her. But what was that one thing that said, okay, I need to go ahead and quit playing and run?
I have been speaking up for teachers and children in the community for a long time, honestly. And if you ask me, was this something that I've always dreamed of? No. Did if you ask me if I thought I would be here today? No. And I like to use the term, I'm not a politician. So when they change the way that you are elected to get on the board, sometimes that open the door for people that maybe just want to be elected for something, or the passion is not really there, you know. So I've been fighting for the kids, for the teachers in the schools for a long time. So now I decided it's time for me to take my fight to another level. I was a very active advocate as a parent. Now, mind you, not my children graduated in 21 and 22, my last set. So I have grandchildren. So I am still active in the schools. I have kids that call me Auntie Pam. I am still active in the school. So it's time for me to continue what I'm doing, but on a different level. Um, Another thing that drove me was the school board is in a great spot right now.
Mm,
When I say great, I mean they have done exceptionally well. They need to keep that momentum up. And what I mean by that, we have a lot of seats that are empty, that are not coming back. So therefore, we want to replace them with someone that's going to have that same drive so they can continue improving like they are. Because when you mix it up, it's so easily to disrupt something that is working well. So I decided, hey, I want to be a part of the solution. I want to be a part of the future and not step in and be a part of confusion and
absolutely.
support what they already have established. They have done well.
They really have. And I do want to pause here because this is like a personal conversation to me. For those who don't know, for years, my family and I were residents in District 8. I was educated in District 8, Charles A. Brown Elementary School, and my older sisters, they were also educated in District 8. They attended Charles A. Brown when it was a middle school, and then both of them furthered their education at Inslee High School, home of the Yellow Jackets. Um, so yeah, JL fans, whatever it is, what it is. It's still
Well, my kids graduated from jail.
yes, and I taught at JL, so it's still JO is a great school, and so we still have that love hate relationship, but it's done in fun. So let me say it that way. So JO is a great school, and Inslee was a great school, and District 8 has always had great schools, even the schools that are not there anymore. Talking about Bush Middle School, Baker, and some other schools that are not there. So Council. So they've always had those great schools in that district. And I
Yeah.
did want to highlight one thing today. I don't know if those who follow the Birmingham City Schools page, Charles A. Brown Elementary School, they did a ribbon cutting for a game room. And I thought that was very cool. And so the way that it works is the game room will be used as an extensive for children who have good behavior, and they show like some increase in their grades, which I think is a very good thing. Kim, I want you to talk about how things like this are necessary in today's school. I know years ago these things wouldn't be necessary, But I want you to talk about for a moment how these things are necessary and how they motivate students.
Well, actually, truthfully, years ago, these things probably they should have been necessary. That's how come they're in place now. You
Hmm.
know, we're quick to talk about what they're doing wrong, or we're quick to talk about, behaviors, but you need to reward them sometimes, because with what they're faced with social media and different things out there and other choices they can make other than coming to school. I know this sounds funny, but when I say meet them where they are, I'm not saying get on their level, but what I'm saying is, just like you want them to respect us as adults, kids deserve respect too. So
Absolutely.
if you meet them where they are, where they supposed to learn, yeah, but this day and time they have an option. Even
Right.
though they have to go to school, they have an option. And sometimes the street seems to be more exciting
Right.
than school. So our objective is, let's give them a reason to want to continue with school. I've talked to so many youth, and I ask them, where do they see themselves in 5 years? Where do they see themselves in 10 years? And do you know, I had a kid to tell me, well, Miss Pam, I got to think about today because tomorrow's not promised. So I'm
Wow.
most definitely not thinking about 5 years or 10 years from now. So those are the type of things they want to be rewarded. Even though we feel like this is stuff they should do, we have to reward them when they are doing it, because you have to realize, between social media and the community, there
Absolutely.
are other choices.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for saying that because these students today, they're faced with things that a lot of us we didn't have to worry about in school. You know, bullying and then cyberbullying, that's a whole other issue. It's a lot. And you said it right. We should be willing to reward these students.
You are correct. Um, Bullying at one point was in an uprise.
Mhm.
And when I came up, it was simple things like, if you didn't have the name brand clothes or
Right.
shoes or stuff like that. But now it's worse, So the kids are faced with way more than what we were faced with then. So in some of these cases, we do have to make them feel comfortable, accommodate them, you know, do things that they're excited to go to school, and not waking up like, my granddaughter's 5 years old, and the excitement that she have on her face, she, Ma, I can't miss school. I'm like, keep that energy. So we as adults, we as leaders, we need to create an atmosphere so they'll have that. I gotta go to school.
Right.
Not, I don't feel good today. I want to stay at home. So we should have something for them, a reward, an atmosphere where, hey, they want to be there, and not trying to play sick to go home.
Absolutely. So we're gonna try to get everything in tonight, but I do want to make sure that we get the most important things. So let's talk about what are you focused on as far as winning that District 8 seat? What are going to be, I'll say, the top four things that you want to tackle once you're elected?
Well, my top priority is honestly to be college and career ready. Every child is not going to college, okay? Even though we know most are, every child is not going to go to college. I'm sorry. So you want to be college and career ready, not just career ready. And what I mean by that, give example. I'm gonna use my son as an example because I have used him before.
Okay.
Um, he took HVAC, and now the Birmingham City Schools, they offer a lot of different trades. And when these kids graduate, they have the opportunity to graduate with license or with certification so they can go into a career. So him
Absolutely.
taking HVAC and passing HVAC, we knew through his IEP that he probably wouldn't go to college. But guess what? Taking HVAC made it where he could come out and have a career that would be sustaining for him. So that's one of my top priorities for us to keep that momentum and keep that available for the students. And if we can broaden it or even get to a point where we have more trades that are available, we need to make sure that one hand that they're college ready, those that we know going to college, and then on the other hand, that we got them career ready, so when they graduate, they can go into a career that'll take care of them. That's one of
Meaning,
my P's. That's my top one. Another one is now they have aides in all the pre-K rooms. If we can keep that momentum going, keep that funding so we can keep aides in those rooms so the teachers won't be so overcrowded. And then that leaves more room for one-on-one, help as far as breaking down the kids where this kid may be need a little bit more attention. The aide being in the class will assist that teacher so she can focus on the ones that need a little bit more help. Another thing is to continue in the rate that we're going because now the pay rates. Now we can say that in the Birmingham City school system, no employee makes less than $15 an hour. So that's a good hurdle there. We get to the point where they can make more, but at one point, some was making less than $15 an hour. So we want to make sure that the employees are still treated like they need to be treated, or they're making a substantial amount. Because the thing about it, if they're happy, then they'll be productive, and when they're productive, that's a team. Um, and last but not least, our third graders are reading at 86%. That's a great improvement. I want to keep the momentum and strive for us to get them at 100%. I know 100% is stretching it, but if you're at 86, why not strive for the best?
absolutely.
Let's go for it. If we stay strong, we can get us there. Um, that's mainly it. Oh, our pre-K, we're at 900, a little over 900. Let's get 1,000. So see, think about it. The more we have in the schools, the less at home. Let's start off with these babies early so we can fill these pre-Ks, classes up. Let's fill them up. So
Absolutely.
those are some of my goals, outside of making sure, because we are data driven. So as an elected representative for District 8, I want to make sure that I pay attention. And when the data is given, that we need to review for policies and procedures, that I review it, I study it, and I make the best decision for all of us, not just me.
Absolutely. And I do want to highlight some of those because, as we said earlier, there are really some great things happening in BCS. It is easy to point out the bad things, but there's some really great things happening. For those who did not know and who have not had the time to see it, at Martha Gaskins across the street, what was formerly North Roebuck Elementary School, that is Martha Gaskins Learning Center. And they actually house pre K. I think it's just pre K classes in that school. And a lot of the pre K classes that were at other schools, they've since transitioned to this school and had a chance to ride by. And it's a very nice facility, first class facility. And so these are the things that we should be proud of. Also, when we talk about what you were talking about, the um the trade classes. Birmingham offers so many trade
They
classes.
do.
So when your child walks across that great stage at graduation, they have that diploma in one hand, and then they can also have the confidence of knowing that they have certification. And HVAC, if they want to be a chef, it's so many things. Cosmetology. When I was at JL, I was really blown away. I mean, and these students, they take it serious too. If your child wants to be an EKG tech, I mean, it's really like mind blowing because I think my second week there, I saw some students walk in my class with scrubs on. I'm like,
Yeah,
what y'all doing? I was like, Mr. Vines, this we gotta wear this for a grade. If we don't wear it, they're gonna flunk us. And they really take it serious. So those are great things to see. And then when you have conversations with them, a lot of those kids that are in these programs, they can already tell you what they see themselves doing after high school because of these programs. And then you talked about also the third grading reading with the ACAP. That is significant improvement. And I know that there are some hurdles that we have to work through, but I believe that all the third grade teachers getting the assistance that they need. I believe that soon I expect to see us at 90%, if not soon 100%. And then Birmingham was also, I think we saw a significant increase in math as well.
we did.
So
Hmm.
these are things years ago. I'm not gonna lie, and you know this as well. It was a struggle. Things
It
have not
was.
always looked this good, but it was a struggle. And so I think part of that is, and I want to transition here. It speaks to the fact that Dr. Mark Sullivan, he's homegrown. When we say he's homegrown, Dr. Sullivan started as a substitute in Birmingham City Schools. He worked his way up to becoming a teacher, a lead teacher. He later became a principal, and now we see where he is, a superintendent. So let's talk about how it feels and how important do you think it is to have a consistent superintendent and the difference that that makes in running a school board.
Well, first of all, back to what you said, he's homegrown. He's from
Mhm.
here. So he valued the position more to me. Now like I said, my kids, they graduated and they came through the Birmingham City Schools. And I saw many superintendents that were not rooted here. And I saw the changeover and I see the difference. This is home for Dr. Sullivan. So to me, I feel his drive and his wanting to see those kids strive and the improvement is because it's within,
Absolutely.
because hey, whether I'm in this position or not, this is where I'm from. So
Absolutely.
this community, this city means something to me. I'm not a superintendent that was brought from another state. So if it don't go right, I can go. No, he's homegrown. So he has walked through it. He has lived through it. So therefore, now that he's in a position to make a difference, I think it's more transparent and sincere, and he truly authentically want to see us be successful. And the data shows since he's been in that seat, it has. Each year there has been an improvement. And if you can continue getting improvement each year, that means it is working.
Mhm.
And with that being said, it takes the board. So they all have to get work together. So from what I've seen in this past board and the one before, they basically work together. And working together is why they are where they are now, why they're in the situation they're in now, and why we can truly say we have been recognized worldwide, well, statewide, about some of the things that are going on in the Birmingham City Schools. I have not witnessed that. And this was witnessed under Dr. Sullivan's leadership.
Absolutely. All right. So the next area that I want to transition to, and you may have answered, but I'll still ask challenges, because I know every school area has challenges. What are some unique challenges that you feel the District 8 faces, and how do you plan to address them?
Challenges.
Okay, I'll
Well,
name one if you want me to. So we all talked about it. What do you think you could do, I guess, to work with parents when we are addressing the issue of school attendance?
and that's what I was going
Because
to say, the
yeah,
attendance,
mhm,
bridging that gap.
mhm,
What I mean by bridging that gap, I've witnessed this before. We have a lot of single parent households. So I leave to go to work. You're dressed to go to school, and you're old enough to go to school. but you
Right.
don't go. So what is she to do when she have other children that are also in school, but you got this one that don't want to go?
Mm-hmm.
I know we came up with the idea where if they miss so many days of school, that they'll come after the parent for the truancy. But I think we can work on that a little bit more because I've seen some that they should go after. And I've also witnessed some that, hey, I'll give you a prime example. It's one of my parents that I mentor. She has 6 children. Her kids are all in school, but she had one that just chose to want to do what he wanted to do. She actually had to go to court for his attendance.
Wow.
And in her case, I feel like it should be by, I feel like it should be a case by case, if that makes sense.
It
I
does.
think the rule is a good one where I hold the parent accountable for them not attending or not going to school. But in some cases, I think it needs to be looked into a little bit deeper. Because for one, this one child, he stayed in trouble. They were delayed coming at her for his attendance. So when they did come at her, guess where he was?
Where?
He was expelled from school,
Wow.
and he was in the detention center. So the point I'm making was she had already stressed that, hey, he left going to school. I have to work. I have 5 other children. So in her case, that was a case by case, but she's standing before a judge because her son that just wouldn't do right had missed school and she went to jail.
Wow.
Yeah, she did. So I think that right there need to be a case by case study. But I wish we could go back to how it used to be. A lot of times when a child is continue acting out or there's continued issues in the house, back in the day, we could go to the counselor came to your house.
Yep.
Sometimes the principal or the assistant principal would come to your house. I know times have changed, but when the time changed, it didn't say stop doing what you used to do. It said take a
Yep.
different approach.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Take a different approach. And I'm gonna go back to when I say meet them where they are. I'm not saying get on their level, but if you can approach them at the level where they are, they will listen. So sometimes it can be a little deeper than that. Let's go to the house because we use the term it takes a village.
Absolutely.
Who is the village?
We are.
What's your role?
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So stay in your lane. That's where we bridge that gap. The community, the churches, the businesses, the schools. It's something that all of us can do to help with the kids in the schools in the community so we can be successful. Now, trust me, you still gonna have those cases, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if we all work together, come on common grounds, get on the same team, and instead of somebody trying to lead, have you ever seen an iron team?
Nope.
Okay.
Not once.
Me and us.
Nope.
So if we look at it like that and we all work together, we bridge that gap. Though that's the one of the hurdles that we have is either this person want to take all claim for everything, but then when something bad happens, they have no parts in it, or you're not consistent. We need to be consistent. If the church don't have a program for the youth, be consistent with it. Don't do it when it's election time, or if an organization is going to do something, be consistent with it. It's a lot of nonprofit organizations, and I remember trying to put something together to say that we are one. Who is the village? What's your role in the village? And if you play your role and you play your role and you play your role, we're a powerful village.
Absolutely. So we kind of hit on this, but I do want you to expand more. One, when elected, how do you plan to strengthen communication and trust between school leaders, teachers, and parents? Because I think when we talk about communication, trust is a huge factor where a lot of these parents today are concerned.
Um, Let me tap on this. So we have a misunderstanding a little bit that's out there about the role as a school board representative. I'm going to tell you what I would do, and then I'm going to explain what the true role of a school board representative is.
Okay.
I would support what the school have in place, what has came through the superintendent, and what they have in place. As a school board representative, we do not touch in day-to-day activity. We really have three main jobs. And this is where miscommunication come out with what we can and cannot do. When we start tapping into things that are not in our position or what we're supposed to do, it puts us at jeopardy to lose accreditation, which we did lose in 2015 and regained it back in 18. What we are responsible for, and a lot of people don't know, is to oversee the superintendent, the chief financial officer, to review policies and procedures and vote on it. Those are the three main roles that a school board representative have.
Can you repeat
We
that
do
again
not,
for?
huh?
Can you repeat that again for me? Because I want to make sure
To
the view loud and clear.
to oversee the superintendent, the chief financial officer, to review policies and procedures to vote what's best for the community. We cannot go into schools to say what they should and should not be doing. We cannot go in there and implement this or implement that. We don't supposed to. We can support day-to-day activity. That's not for us to do. We are to bag the superintendent if we agree with what they want to do. So a lot of times we get mis incorrect information, if if I may say that. So did I kind of answer your question?
You did. And that's why I went there because I wanted to make sure we got that in. So we talked about budget. So with budget challenges when they arise, because we know that they can arise, how would you approach making tough financial decisions while still making sure that our students are put first?
Once again, we are data driven. So therefore, once the data is put before me, I'm going to analyze it, I'm going to read it, I'm going to study it, and then when it's time for me to vote, I'm going to be sure about my vote that's going to represent the community. But let me clear some more misinformation up. Yes, we have a surplus right now. We're sitting at maybe approximately 5 months in reserve. The state requires 1 month. It may sound good that we have the extra, but it's not like a regular account like mine and yours. We got extra. For one, what the state starts to see if you continue with too much extra is if all those schools are not passing or at top level, then they want to see you putting it into the schools. And also, those that don't know, the Board of Education has a new home that they're renovating. So there are a lot of unknown expenses that still have to be paid out. So I know we keep talking about the surplus, but we have unknown expenses, and the state do not want you to have a major surplus. They want to see that you're putting it back into the schools. So did I clear that up for you?
You did. You did. This is a
Okay.
good conversation tonight. So hopefully you all are learning some things that you didn't know or things that you kind of work clear on that you are learning. So again, if you're just tuning in tonight, my guest for the evening is candidate Pamela Bass. She's in the runoff for Birmingham City Schools Board Member District 8. So again, if you live in Bellevue Heights, Bush Hills, Central Park, College Hills, Inslee Highlands, Fairview, Graymont, Thomas, Rising, West Princeton, Tuxedo, and Tuxedo Heights, Pamela Bass will be on your district, and the schools in the District 8 district are Charles A. Brown Elementary School, Central Park Elementary, Princeton Alternative, Minor, Bush Hill STEM Academy. All right, so I do want to go here. Let's talk about for a moment. I forgot it just that quick. What's the name of the scholarship that students can get in Birmingham City Schools? My
The
mind went
promise.
blank.
The promise.
Yes, Birmingham.
Birmingham promise.
Let's talk. Yes, Birmingham Promise. Let's talk about that and how you just seen with the students that you mentor. And one of the reasons I'm doing this, yes, I'm allowing her to talk about some things that she's going to bring in District 8, but I'm also making sure that I highlight things so that you can know some of the things that are already available in Birmingham City Schools. So let's talk about that and how you've seen some students that you've mentoring benefit from that.
I know one young man. He got the opportunity to participate in the Birmingham Promise. Without the Birmingham Promise, he wouldn't have been able to go to Alabama A&M. I do not know the numbers to be exact, to be factual, but I know everyone that was able to further their education through the Birmingham Promise, that the family, it was very beneficial for them. Um,
Mhm.
if it wasn't for the Birmingham Promise, they probably wouldn't have been able to fulfill that dream of going to college, because it cleared the family from having to try to get loans and stuff like that. You know, everyone is not fortunate to have the educational scholarship where they make A's and B's, but that still gave them the opportunity to further their education. So
Yes.
Birmingham Promise, when it was put out there for them, it has truly helped a lot of families that if it wasn't available, they wouldn't have been able to go to college.
Absolutely. And then
So
also,
I think that was a
it is.
great grant program
Yeah,
that was put out.
I think it gets bigger and better every year because they're able
I think
to
it does.
get interns. Some of them are even able to get jobs. I can recall because one of my classes, I taught theater, and one of my classes, it had a lot of seniors in it. And they came in my class dressed up when they're like, "Where y'all going?" It's like, "Mr. Vance, we got to go do these mock job interviews for the Birmingham Promise." And they really took it serious. So, like I said, we're not only talking about what Pamela is going to do when elected, we want to highlight some of the things that's already happening in BCS. All right, so I wanted to in this way on purpose, as we mentioned in your bio. In 2020, you faced the tragic loss of your son to gun violence. I want you to take a moment to talk about how did that moment change your life and how did that change your mission?
Well, how it changed my life. First of all, that was my child. And I've been out here advocating and speaking for a long time. And what I want to tell everybody is I'm not perfect. So even though I speak on it, I mentor, I have people that look up to me. A comment was made where it came in your house. It came to your house. No, it knocked on my front door and it came inside my house. Even though we give our children the tools, we raise our children to the best of our ability, and we know we have been good parents, sometimes our children still choose to make decisions that we felt they shouldn't make. But as a part of growing up, that happens. My son made decisions that maybe I didn't agree on, But I stood 10 toes down, and and he respected me, and I always talked to my son, and he knew what was right and what was wrong. And his decisions that he made that may not have always been right, it played a part in his death. So I had to forgive myself, because as a parent, you always find somewhere to fault yourself or to blame yourself. I had to pray. I had to pray hard, because my foundation starts with God. My foundation is with God. See, we as man, we put a time we feel like you come in the world and a time we feel like you should leave. The only person that knows that time is God. When you're put in the womb, you have an assignment. So I had to pray about it and face the fact that my son had an assignment when he stepped on this earth, and that his assignment was fulfilled. And when I saw how many people showed up to his funeral, I knew he was cut from my cloth. So he touched the people in the community that was in on his age level, on his group, the community that he hung, that was around him. It was not, it was sadness, but it was also a moment of celebration. So through that, I changed my platform, and I talk to youth more about gun violence, because I see it different. You know, I always ask the question, do a gun really save you? I see so many youth, they, especially when the governor changed the law where they can carry a weapon, that permits and stuff like that. When I see them, I say something. But when I say, once again, you got to meet them where they at, I be like, sweetheart, pull your pants up. See, we don't say anything anymore as parents, stuff we see wrong. But in order for us to build a community, that's where the village come in at. If you see something, say something. But it's a matter of how you say it. So I asked the young man, do you really think a gun keep you safe? Tell me, yeah. I said, how? Well, I said, let me tell you something. What happens is, to me, my opinion, the visual sight of a gun turns a simple argument into a gun battle. You know why? Because I already know you have a gun. So if I know you have a gun, why we gonna argue or even have a fight? We just gonna shoot. And you may not even be a shooter. That may not even be you. You just feel like you need to carry one because everybody else is carrying one. So a simple arguments turn into a gun battle. So I changed my platform. Every youth I see, we talk about it, because what I tell them is, when you take a life, you take many. Even though you took this physical life, he may have a mother that you took a part of her life. He may have children, you took a part of their life. Sister, sibling, you take multiple lives when you take one life, and you just don't realize you just took the physical body, but you're going to take a piece of soul out of everybody that was connected to that life that you took. And then as far as young people, if you shoot me, my people gonna come shoot you, then they gonna retaliate against you, and then that's gonna be ongoing. So I ask you again, do a gun really save you? To me, a gun create more trouble.
Mhm.
So my son's death made me see things a little different. Even though I saw him like that, it made me focus on it a little bit more. So I talk to the youth every opportunity I get. I could be in Walmart, it don't matter. I'm gonna talk to them. Son, your gun heavier than you. Your pants are almost to your knees. You can't even carry what you got in your hand because your gun weighing you down. Why? You got out just to come in the store. Why? Oh, well, Miss Pam, why? So I say again, do a gun really keep you safe? I think a gun create more trouble for you than it than to keep you safe. So that's um, why I focus a little bit more on it. you know, because it's real easy. And I've seen too many just make a mistake. Well, I didn't mean to. Well, it was so accessible that your reflex, you reacted. And that one reaction, that 1 second can cost you either a life or a lifetime. That's my point. That's my take.
And staying in that same vein, what words of encouragement would you share with families who have lost loved ones to gun violence?
Encouragement I would share first of all, don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Stand 10 toes down and stand. If you're a parent, know what you know. Know you raised your child, right? Know you gave them everything that you could. If you're a brother, sister, uncle, or whatever this loved one is to you, know that you were everything to them that you could be. Because sometimes we can't prevent everything, and there's some decisions they make or may not have made is how they got to where they are. But do not, and I repeat, do not find a reason to fault yourself.
Final question before we go to our closeout. What gives you hope when the work that you do feels heavy, and what keeps you going?
Repeat that.
What gives you hope when you're doing the work that you're doing, when it feels heavy, and what keeps you going?
With what I do, it is heavy because I am that one that a lot come to. I'm related to like a pastor. Do you realize he have to hear everything that the members say? And I can only imagine how weighted down his spirit is because he's your spiritual father. So he gotta listen to everything. And sometimes all those burdens and hurts of other people are are on him, you know? So me, I'm so passionate about the community, the kids and everything that I eat, breathe, and sleep that. So although it may be weighting me down, I keep going because as long as I wake up and God let me plant those two on the ground, I open my eyes and my mouth. I'm gonna continue this fight till I can't do it anymore. Because at the end of the day, the satisfaction is seeing this child smile, seeing that person smile, this parent smile, seeing numbers like what you see. It's worth the fight.
Mhm.
I don't give up easily because at the end of the day, we are the village, we are the community. And at the end of the day, regardless of who's fighting for what position or who want this position, this one, or that one, we got one goal. And that is for us to strive to do better, to be better, and to remain on top.
Mhm.
I'm going to do that whether I'm school board, District 8 representative, or Miss Bass. Because I've been doing it as Miss Bass. And I'm going to always be Miss Bass. I'm just seeking to be Miss Bass on another level. But regardless, I'm going to do this until I can't do it anymore. So even the burden and the weight, no pressure at all. I expect it because if anything come easy, it don't last. I like the challenge because I'm going to fight for them babies.
As we prepare to close out, when I all through this interview, there was one thing that kept running through my mind, and that was servant leadership. So you exemplify servant leadership. That was a question I wasn't even prepared to ask. Let's talk about how important it is to exemplify servant leadership when we are a leader in any capacity.
In order to be a leader, you have to know how to serve. And that's just being honest. You have to know how to follow leadership first. Once you learn how to serve up under someone, how to be mentored, Then when you step in a leadership role, your goal is to be able to pass it on because it's going to be someone looking up to you. So and another thing I like to point on, when you make the decision to want to lead someone, you need to be passionate about it. You need to make sure that at all times, and I say that all times, that you are a leader. It's no, I'm off, because you never know who watching you. You never know who look up to you. So at all times, you are a leader. So you have to modify a lot of things when you make those decisions. So in order to be an excellent leader, you got to first learn how to be a servant. If you never serve, how can you lead?
Absolutely.
I've been serving a long time. Most of the organizations that I'm a part of, I actually hold a leadership role. So even as a leader, you still got to serve because it's somebody above me. And you still got to be willing to learn because each day is new things out there. You can't be a leader and feel like you know it all.
Absolutely.
So that's my take.
All right. And I want to thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. And for viewers and listeners who are watching who live in the District 8 district, if they are interested in doing canvassing with you, making a donation, or just finding more information about who you are and what you bring to the table, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
I'll give out my number. My number is 205 223 1160. And my campaign Facebook page is Campaign to Elect. Oh, let me make sure. Y'all forgive me. Okay, Campaign to Elect Pamela Bass. That is my Facebook page. If you want to go there. But we have 2 more weeks, y'all. 2 more weeks. Now, I will say this was one of the lowest turnouts for this election with the mayor, the first go around, the lowest turnout. And a lot of times in a runoff, you will not get even as many as you got for the main one. But we have a lot of runoffs, and your vote is very important. In District 8, you have city council and school board. In District 9, you have city council and school board. So we really need you all to go back out and vote. My thing is, people fought for you to have this right, and your vote do matter. Don't sit at home and complain about what's going on if you didn't get up and go and vote.
Absolutely.
This is where it matters. We need you to get up October the 7th and go back to the polls and vote. If you miss the opportunity to be a part of the future, don't complain.
Absolutely. And in your final pitch, why should voters elect you to represent District 8 as the Birmingham City School Board representative?
For you. This far as I want to go. I don't, my passion has always been the kids and the youth, and it's going to always be that. I'm going to make it real simple for you. Vote Bass, because Bass will last. That's it.
I love it.
October the 7th, see y'all at the polls. Bass will last.
I
That's
love
it.
it. Ladies and gentlemen, your candidate for Birmingham City School Board District 8, Pamela Bass. And before we end tonight, I did want to remind other people that live in Birmingham metro cities, your runoff is actually tomorrow. So if you live in Pelham, Hoover, Calera, Centerpoint, Alabaster, Helena, and Fairfield, say those one more time: Pelham, Hoover, Calera, Centerpoint, Alabaster, Helena, and Fairfield. Your runoff is tomorrow. Polls open at 7 a.m., close at 7 p.m. Let your voices be heard. And I know there's a phrase that we've said for years: put your money where your mouth is. I'm going to rephrase it: put your vote where your mouth is. Do something about it. As always, thanks for tuning in tonight. Keep the faith and be on the lookout as we will be back with our next candidate. Have a great evening.
Wow.
Yeah, we out.